I'm Ayala Sella, and I will be reading to you from a book called Soliloquies of a Crosswalker, which is pretty much my life work bound finally this summer. The book has poems that were written both here in New York, in Brooklyn, and also throughout Israel, and it kind of goes back and forth. And I will be reading them to you, not in chronological order. So the first one is called 5767. My cat cuddles more on Saturdays, though she knows. Even the dogs aren't begging for a walk. They are content that there are no construction workers, and horns honking, and yelling and screaming of all kinds. The new year has landed us this silence, and the first raindrops too, and everyone is sitting in some family living room. The only place open is the corner store on a Balbanero where we used to buy ice cream before or after our trips. Now it's my usual hangout. When I get enough energy, I'll make my way there for some stale pastries, bad coffee, and free internet service. On the way, there'll be the playing of a clarinet. Then I'll send you this poem, give the dogs a brushing, and find the sea from another direction. And that's a poem that's in the chapter called From Another Direction. I moved in Israel almost every 6 months or every year. I think I counted 9 poems altogether. And this was written in Tel-Aviv. 5767 stands for the Jewish New Year, and it's equivalent to the year 2006, which in the summer in Israel, some of you might know, the Second Lebanon War broke out, and I was living in a shack almost on a roof in Tel Aviv, and constantly traveling with 2 dogs and 2 cats that were from Brooklyn. So the next poem I will read you is called Golden Tulip. I had a number of odd jobs too, and one of them was as a hotel receptionist. Golden Tulip. I started to work as a dumb reception clerk at a dumb 4-star hotel in an ugly town. There is a group of Holocaust victims from Netanya on vacation, a gift from the German government. Many of them still have tattoos, and as all-inclusive guests, they are asked to wear yellow bands like those of an amusement park. One man says, "It's enough the Germans made us wear yellow." Another woman, "The tattoo my husband can't remove." And they visit the sites, swim in the hot springs, take a trip to the Golan, sit by the pool. They have made it to the Holy Land from various European countries where entire populations were exterminated. Later, this woman searches for the management to complain of the yellow, even though her husband has told her to forget about it. I invite her over to the desk and remove her bracelet and that of her husband with large orange scissors. And those 2 poems are forthcoming in the New York Quarterly. And since we're on the topic of hotel reception clerks, I'll read you another one. Both of them were written on the banks of the Kinneret, which is the Lake of Galilee, near Tiberias, if any of you know in Israel. Cats at the Holiday Village. An old Christian southerner approaches the counter to settle his bill. He's had a bottle of wine and pays with a credit card in case he meets a woman who will want all his money, to which, of course, the reception clerk laughs without holding back. There have been more than one recently to ask me why I laugh, which you never had to. And then this Christ worshipper says, "You're a mess, you're a troublemaker," which, needless to say, I take as a compliment and wonder what the Lord himself would have thought. When I was in Israel, I actually had a feeling that I wasn't doing as much writing as I did in New York, and when I assembled all of these poems, I realized that I actually did have a number to write, so a number of poems that I'd written, so even though I had these meaningless jobs, they did give me topics to write about. The next one is called Monday, and again, all of these are from the Israel chapter, from the chapter called From Another Direction. And This was written in a very small village called Dovev in the north of Israel, on the border with Lebanon, where I lived and taught high school English. I survived at that job for about 3 months. Again, with 2 dogs and 2 cats. Monday. There's some Dylan this time. The dogs are sleeping. On my desktop is a beautiful photo of a sunset, a fox, and a girl in a green dress. In Lebanon, there's some serious lightning. If I have enough strength, I'll take a hot shower, even though the second shower rod I brought home today is still too short. If not, I'll jump straight under the X-ray blanket and its down feathers, read a few lines, and fall asleep. Tomorrow, I will have no clean underwear. And you, a mountain or two, some hills and a valley away, watching perhaps flicks of tanks on the computer, or reading the newspaper and taking a shit, or eating sunflower seeds on the couch, are more normal than anyone I know. I'll read you another Israeli poem that's perhaps less serious. It was written in Tel-Aviv during my second stay in Tel-Aviv. Off of a street named Rothschild, which now, if you guys heard, they have tents lined up. It was kind of a social revolution going on, and people have set up tents along the boulevard. And this one is called 30. I liked eating chopped liver with you at the neighborhood pub and drinking sparkling wines on the beach in plastic cups, grabbing your breasts in between laughter. I liked walking with you through the streets of the city and sitting on a bench after Italian ice cream, listening to your tales and your wishes. I liked waking up in the afternoon to your bee-stung lips and your full participation, and then before dawn to fix you some mint tea. I like asking your advice about my criminal doings in this small country, lending you my nail clipper and my smallest pennies. I like telling you I wasn't going to shower, dragging you down with me. And then there was another bottle of bubbles and some cured meat and another night, and by morning, another missed school day. It may have even been appropriate that at 30, I wasn't doing lines of coke and some bathroom. But who knows? I will read you the poems that were written in New York, in Brooklyn. And the first one is called Gala. Gala, I think, is a poem that I read at every reading. It might be one of my best, and it was recently featured in the 22 magazine. Would you mind seeing if that camera is on, and if it's not on, pushing play?
Sure.
I don't have a photographer. Is it going?
It looks like it is.
All right, good.
Flashing green.
I think that's good.
Right?
Perfect.
It does say record.
Okay, that's good. When I'm rich and famous, I'll have my own photographer. Gala. Eve once fed me an apple from her garden. Its name was Gala, and I was wearing large green mittens and dirty cream shoes, descending a long escalator in the city after Eden. Adam wasn't there, and we were both pregnant, smoking cigarettes without tar and drinking tall silver cans of Japanese beer after the night of the lunar eclipse. I think Adam was off somewhere reading about socialism and punk rock on the toilet, but we weren't sure. I'll read you another one. These poems are for the chapter called And All She Does Is Smirk, and it's pretty much about a failed love affair that lasted for a while.